Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're tracing the absolutely fascinating journey of a sales order. You can think of building it a lot like tallying up a restaurant bill, starting from base ingredients all the way down to final submission. Now, if you're in the trenches with this stuff, you've probably wondered exactly what happens under the hood when a highly complex business order gets placed. Well, Oracle's order to cash process gives us a literal blueprint. We're going to break down exactly how a modern system orchestrates everything. We're talking from capturing that initial customer request all the way to running those high-speed, automated background validations. It is quite the ride.
So here's our roadmap for the journey. 1. Capturing the order. 2. Strategies for pricing. 3. Applying discounts. 4. Shipping and guidelines. And finally, step 5. Submitting and validating. We're going to follow our protagonist, the sales order itself, from the very moment a customer wants an item through all the tricky complexities of pricing and shipping, right down to the final submission checks.
All right, part one, capturing the order and building the cart. This is the bedrock of the entire process, where we define precisely what physical goods are actually going into that cart.
Now, right off the bat, there's a massive fundamental difference between standard off-the-shelf items and configurable models. A standard item is pretty straightforward, right? Think of a basic prepackaged computer mouse. It is what it is, ready to ship, fixed attributes. But configurable items, that's where things get super interesting. Imagine a customer buying a server or a high-end computer. They're going to choose specific RAM, a particular hard drive size, maybe a much faster processor. In Oracle, this relies on a root model, which is basically the bare bones computer, and child components, which are all those specific tech specs the customer selects. The system literally has to capture every single one of these choices accurately just to make sure the exact right product gets built on the floor. But it doesn't stop at physical goods. We've also got to capture service items. You've got coverage items, like your classic extended warranty. And here's the catch. These explicitly require a covered item to attach to. I mean, you literally can't buy a TV warranty if you don't actually have the TV in your cart. Then you have subscription items, like a monthly cloud service plan. What's absolutely fantastic here is how the order management system handles the math for you. You just plug in the start date and the duration, and bam, the system automatically calculates the exact end dates. It seamlessly captures everything you need to manage the full end-to-end lifecycle of that service. Moving right along to part 2, strategies for pricing orders, or calculating the base. Now that we've captured our items, we hand things over to the pricing engine to figure out the base list price of our order.
Using a cost-plus pricing strategy, the system automatically goes out, pulls the actual cost from a predefined cost list, and simply adds your defined markup. This generates the base list price before any tricky math or complex discounts even happen. It's a highly logical step-by-step calculation. Step 1, determine cost. Step 2, add markup. Step 3, generate the base list price. And what's great is that this ensures your pricing is always strictly rooted in your actual costs, which, by the way, can even be pulled in real time straight from your costing systems.
To put that into perspective, let's say a mobile phone's actual cost is exactly $390 on your cost list. And let's say your pricing strategy dictates a markup amount of $55. The base fixed price perfectly and automatically resolves to $445. Clean. Automatic. It completely removes the guesswork for the order entry specialist. They literally don't even have to think about it. So the really crucial takeaway here is that pricing gets highly dynamic depending entirely on what you're selling. Remember those configurable items? The system takes the base root price and adds up all those child components, the hard drive, the RAM, into one massive roll-up charge. For a coverage item like that TV warranty, it might calculate the price as a strict percentage of the covered item's price, maybe 20% of the TV's base cost. And for subscriptions, it simply multiplies the unit price by the quantity and then by the duration. The pricing engine handles these incredibly varied, complex formulas instantly, completely in the background.
Okay, part 3, applying discounts and promotions, cutting the bill. Just like slapping a coupon onto a restaurant tab, let's look at how discount lists conditionally lower the price. Because let's be real here, very few large-scale B2B orders are ever actually processed at the standard, out-of-the-box list price. To encourage those massive orders without requiring some manager to manually intervene, the system uses tier-based adjustments. This automatically rewards bulk purchasers with steeper and steeper discounts as their order volumes increase.
Say a customer orders between 100,000 and 150,000 units. The system automatically knots 10% off the list price. If they push that order past 150,000, all the way up to 300,000 units, the system seamlessly drops it to a 15% discount. It's volume pricing on absolute autopilot. But wait, it gets better.
You can also trigger attribute-based adjustments. This means automatically applying conditional discounts based on things like item size, color, or category, again, with zero manual calculations. Say you want to take $10 off specifically for extra-large red shirts. You use extensible flex fields, which are essentially custom data tags, right in the product information hub. Instead of setting up a unique, painstaking discount rule for every single item number in your inventory, you just tell the system to look for specific product attributes. If it sees the tags red and extra large, boom, it applies the discount. Talk about a total game changer for managing massive product catalogs.
Section 4. Shipping charges and guidelines. Adding fees and checking rules. So, our discounts are applied. We've got our net price. Now we absolutely have to layer on the delivery costs and make sure our final pricing actually respects corporate policy. Selecting a specific shipping method triggers what's called the shipping charge list, which evaluates rules for freights, duty, insurance, and handling. Now, a shipping method here is actually a concatenate calculation. It's a combination of the carrier, the service level, and the mode of transport. So a selection like DHL plus air plus 2 days is read by the system as one completely unique shipping method. And that exact string is what triggers the very specific charge calculations based on your distinct corporate agreements. Let's say a specific item qualifies for a $12 freight rule and maybe a $5 handling rule. Oracle Pricing returns multiple distinct charges that neatly stack together onto the very same order line for a total line charge of $17. Notice that it doesn't just lump everything together into one generic shipping fee. It keeps the charges completely distinct. Freight is freight, handling is handling. This is absolutely crucial because it means your accounting and reporting downstream stay perfectly clean, detailed, and completely transparent. Now, when it comes to policy enforcement, the system is incredibly smart. There's a rule of thumb here. In order management, all guideline violations are treated as warnings only. What does that actually mean? Well, let's say a sales rep manually applies a massive discount that pushes the price way below your corporate guidelines. The system raises a warning. It flags the issue, saying, hey, this price is too low. But it purposely doesn't hard stop the order entry specialist from proceeding. It trusts the process. It allows the order to move forward, perhaps routing it into a customer approval workflow for a manager to review, rather than just freezing the entire system and killing the deal on the spot. Finally, Section 5, Submitting and Validating Orders. The final gauntlet. We've reached the climax of our order's journey. This is the exact moment the user hits submit and kicks off a massive flurry of automated background checks. This timeline is intense. Let's see how this builds. First, in literal milliseconds, the order is saved and locked. No one else can touch it or change it. Then, within seconds, the system runs constraint and pricing validations, instantly recalculating to make sure nothing slipped through. Next, still within seconds, a credit check is run against the customer's financials, and the whole thing is vetted for global trade compliance. It's a rigorous, sequential gauntlet. If any single step fails, the order is immediately rolled back to draft status, and the user is alerted. But if it survives all this without error, it is officially complete. The orchestration process, the automated workflow for fulfillment, is assigned and launched. And here's the cherry on top. If those built-in checks aren't quite enough for your specific business, developers can use order management extensions. These are custom Groovy scripts triggered at very specific extension points to enforce unique business logic. This means if you need to pull external web service data right in the middle of submission, maybe you need to ping a third-party inventory system or cross-reference a custom loyalty database, you can write a Groovy script that fires the exact millisecond the user hits submit. The flexibility is pretty staggering. So, what does this all mean for us? It leaves us with a pretty compelling question. How well does your current system handle this level of automated pricing, compliance, and validation in just a fraction of a second? It's truly incredible how much complex logic fires the moment you hit submit. From dynamically pricing those tricky configurable items to vetting global trade compliance in milliseconds, this whole order-to-cash journey is an absolute masterclass in automated efficiency. Honestly, it leaves you wondering how legacy systems can even hope to keep up with this standard of orchestration. Think about your own internal processes. Are they this seamless? Are they this bulletproof? That, right there, is the power of a fully integrated order management system. Thank you so much for exploring this with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.